what makes for the full Christian life, do we say? What does a Christian do? What do you think, Isabel? What should a Christian do? Well, you're in church, so maybe we start with that. A Christian should come to church. Yeah? What do you think, Christo? What sorts of things should an Orthodox Christian do? What do you expect to hear the priest say? Do this, do that, do the other thing. I'll take anything. Donate to charity. That's a good answer. What else? Sophia, what do you think? We should worship God. That's good. Kind of goes along with coming to church, but it speaks of the state of the heart. Very good. Emma, what do you think? What should an Orthodox Christian do? Right. We should make the sign of the cross. Right. What else? What are some of the more picky things that we might talk about, especially now, because it's almost Lent? That's a big hint. What sorts of things should a Christian do? I hear it from some. A Christian should fast, right? We should eat in a certain and specific way and live our lives differently from other people. Right? Now, all this is true. A Christian should go to church, a Christian should fast, a Christian should give to charity, a Christian should live a clean and moral life. We hear this sort of thing all the time. Sunday school curriculums are full of this, right? We could sum it up by saying, be good. Christians are supposed to be good. This is true. But the man today, we're talking about two men. And the first one of them, let's imagine, he comes into the church. He's pleased with himself. He walks through the big doors in the center. He's proud. He's happy. He knows he's got it together. He says, "Oh God, thank you that I am not like other people. The people outside who don't even bother coming to church. The people who take advantage of the poor. The people who sin. Thank you, God, that I am good. And not only do I not do the bad things, I do the good things. I keep the fasts. I pray. Thank you, God, that I am so wonderful." Is he talking to God? He's kind of talking to everyone else. Look at me. See me. And he's talking to himself. He's pleased with himself. Is this guy a good Christian? Why? You don't have to answer, just think about it. What does the other guy do? The other guy, he sort of opens the door. I'm not going to go out and do that. It would go too far, I might lose the microphone. But let's pretend. He goes out, he kind of opens the door a crack, looks inside, makes sure, am I going to bother anyone if I open this door? He sort of slips in sideways, steps over to the side, creeps in, stands in the very back, and he watches. He listens to the other guy. He even listens when the man says, "Thank you, God, that I'm not like that jerk back there, that sinful man, the tax collector." He knows. He knows he's broken. So he backs up. He hides. He doesn't want to get in anyone else's way. He's not here to see anyone else. He's not here to be seen by anybody. And he finds a corner, a back row. And then he gets down on his knees. He goes flat on his face. He says, God, be merciful to me, the sinner. Is he a good Christian? Why? This is what we need to be thinking about right now. Because we know the guy who does everything right, chances are, is really, really broken. And the guy who's really, really broken, somehow he gets it right. And as we come up on Lent, as we have this long list of things we're supposed to be doing, we need to understand, how do we do them? Is the most important thing whether there is any dairy in my crackers? Is butter on that list somewhere down 5, 10, 15 ingredients down? Is this the thing we should be spending our effort, our energy, our thought on? Put it differently, should we be spending our time looking in the banquet hall? Ooh, what's he eating? Is she fasting? I don't think she looks quite pious enough. And then, did you hear what he did? We get distracted. We get distracted ourselves with the laundry list of things we're supposed to do. And even worse, we get distracted with the list of things other people are supposed to do and aren't doing. And there's a reason why. Because in our hearts, we all know the thoughts we have, the problems we have, the struggles we have. And what we really, really want is to be assured that someone out there is worse than we are, so that if God gets mad, he won't hit us first. Am I wrong? When you and your brother are fighting, if you fight, I'm assuming, do you ever fight? Okay. When you're fighting, when mom comes in, what do you really, really want to make sure of? You want to make sure mom knows he started it. I'm not the worst one in the room. We learn this from our childhood. We learn this from the beginning. But it's wrong. And all the good things we do as Christians are no good at all if we don't understand that God doesn't care whether our brother or our sister are worse than we are. He also doesn't care whether they're better than we are. It's beside the point. God doesn't care who keeps the best fast. He doesn't care who prays and comes to church most often. He doesn't care who dresses best for the church, whose earrings are the most appropriate. He doesn't care who has a head covering on and who doesn't. These things are not important to God. They're important to us. They mean something. We dress up nicely because this is a way we show respect for God and for this holy place and for ourselves. But God doesn't care whether we wear jeans or a fancy suit. God cares what is in the heart. And this is why the tax collector is a good Christian. Because in his heart, he's broken, but he knows that, and he says that, and he asks for help. He knows the truth, he speaks the truth, and he asks for help. And if this can be where we begin this Lent and every day of our lives, then the fasting and the praying and the giving to charity, all of these things become the means by which God helps us. But only if we start where the tax collector starts, in the very, very back, in the corner where nobody can see, knowing the truth, speaking the truth, and asking for help. If we begin here, then the path of salvation is laid out before us in the life of the church for 2,000 years. Every face of every saint speaks proof that this works. God will change us. He will heal us. He will give us joy. But we have to start in the right place. And that's why as we begin to get ready for Lent, we start looking at the publican and the Pharisee, and we remember this is the guy that we are. We want to be that guy, we think. But it's a lie. It's a lie for him. We want to be this guy. The one who knows the brokenness of his heart, who confesses it, and who asks for help. With this in mind, let's stand up, speaking the truth in our hearts and seeking the salvation of the Lord. Please stand, we will continue the liturgy.